Don't miss the Plague Surgeon and Tallyman wannabe fatties of Nurgle.
Spiky bits.
What's up, hobby maniacs? Rob Baer with you again today. Checking out the two newest character models for the Death Guard. Of course, this is I don't even know. I can't remember a time when there wasn't Death Guard releases coming out, but I guess we're nearing the end of the road for these bad boys here. So these are the two new characters this week. Like I said, $25 clan packs each one right here. Some really cool character models leading into next week when we see Mr. Sass come out with this little sassy Nurgle helper. I don't know what's going on with all these little Nurgle assistants bouncing all over the place, nimbly bimbly from character to character, but I for one welcome our new sidekick overlords for sure. So first up is Mr. Tallyman. This, of course, obvious song comes to mind, but first off, this guy's pretty cool, rules wise and also just kind of concept wise. Now we saw a version of him, I guess of sorts, in the Demon book back in the day, but now we have a Death Guard version of him, I suppose. And like I said, his rules are pretty good. We're going to cover the rules at the end. Component wise, you're looking at 8 different component parts labeled right here. You got your backpack with your whatever this thing is here at the top. Then your left and right torso. Customizable head. You could swap it out with anything you want, I suppose. Left arm. What do we got? I guess his other arm is right here with his little bone quill. So left arm, right arm, parchment paper, and sassy assistant of sassness. Right there. Boom. There it is. Let's take a close look at the model. This guy is on a 40mm base. Right there. Let's zoom in a little bit. Let's see how close we can get without mucking it all up. There it is. Nice and clear for the most part. You can kind of see in here. It's got a ton of good detail. Got his crazy little abacus he's holding with his... Well, no, the abacus is actually on... Yeah, okay. So his little death count abacus, I guess, is like on his hips or attached. Oh, there's some tentacles holding it. Now, that's kind of neat. Tentacles mean business, and this guy's serious business right here. Bone quill. Then you've got crazy plasma pistol hanging from... I'm trying to figure out what all this... It's easy to see it in a slice, but then when you start looking at it, there's your parchment paper, sassy helper, of course, front torso with legs attached, back torso here, customizable head that you don't have to use. You could put them on something else, but I suppose you could use some of those cool Dark Angel Marine Fallen hoods to look pretty cool. What does this picture look like again? Okay, so here we go. We got Death Abacus, Crazy Parchment, Bone Quill. So I guess the plasma pistol's hanging off the back. That's the reason I didn't recognize it. I guess it's his primary armament. Just kind of hanging there with a little strap. Okay, that's cool. I dig it. All right, pretty cool. Highly detailed kit. I mean, you can see in the picture here, you've got lots of pitting, lots of little pieces on top, little boils, little rivets, lots and lots of book. I mean, you can see the detail in the book there. Ribbons. I mean, wood grain right here is very well detailed. Sassy parchment holder. And you can even see the little skulls on the death count abacus right there. I still don't know what this thing is, but why not? Everything resembles a bell when it comes to these guys, and why not? It seems like it's super fun to be Nurgle. Why wouldn't you want to be Nurgle? These guys are having fun. They got sidekicks. They're doing their thing. Next up is the Plague Surgeon. Also, probably one model worth taking. He too is on a 40mm base. This guy is gonna probably... I don't know if Tallyman's a must-have. They're both around the same points cost, which we're about to talk about. But this guy's probably one, at least worth taking one in your army, and I'll show you why. So this is an 8-component kit. Again, it's static. You're not going to have the removable head per se. It looks like it kind of slots in the back and the hood's already there. You do have the customizable left and right arm. It's going to have this extra kind of horn or spiky bit, so to speak, coming off of the shoulder pad right there. And then, of course, your little bottles of whatever this stuff is. Nurgle blood, I guess at that point, the Narthecium and all that, because he is the bad guy surgeon, or the good guy, depending on how you look at it there, and then you can see his stats, but we're going to go over those in a minute. So here's his components. He's standing tall, much larger, almost Primaris size, to be quite honest, just looking at it here. Got the dope backpack, looks like it has a demon head, Narthecium and Reductor on the right hand, with some crazy bone sword on the left hand. Then he's got his vials of Nurgle's blood and things. The two-part head right there, that's computer sliced out with the helmet in it. Very peculiar, but yet I'm sure they did it for some reason. Over here you can see the detail work a lot better on the shoulder pads. Fantastic. It's got a freaking plague bearer head on it with one eye. Like, how dope is that? I've never seen anything quite like that before, for sure. So that's pretty cool to see. Just kind of looking at the rest here. Lots of pitting, lots of scoring. Lots of all sorts of crazy stuff, little rot maggots on the front of his torso there. You got all sorts of vent work, crazy dead head at the bottom there, and some Nurgle iconography on the bolt pistol holster. So overall, a very cool looking model right here. $25 clan pack from Games Workshop. So pros and cons of the kit. Both of these kits, well, at least one of them is probably a must buy. Cons. Well, they're not very posable, but they do make up for it with a lot more detail than we're used to, and also, I suppose, a little bit of sass on the part of the helpers there. Now let's go over the rules real quick. So first off, we've got the Plague Surgeon rules right here. He's going to be 59 points. Why this guy is good is because he allows you to reroll disgustingly resilient rolls of 1 for friendly Death Guard infantry units within 3 inches of this model. So normally it's a 5. So math says dice rolls notwithstanding, that would basically make it a 4 up. But again, it's hard to carry fractions and decimals when you're rolling a die. So it doesn't quite work out to that, but it's still better than just a straight 5 up. Save against unsaved wounds right there. And then of course he himself is a little bit better in combat, but I feel like if he's in combat, that's probably bad for him to begin with. So protect him the best you can, so he's giving out those buffs to his friends. Now he is an elite choice, he is not an HQ choice, so keep that in mind when you're slotting him in on all of your detachments. And then you've got the Tallyman himself, also another elite choice right here. He is going to clock in at 60 points. He does his Zealot thing, where reroll failed hit rolls in the fight phase for friendly Death Guard units that are within 7 inches of this model. So if you are going to do the grenade trick, throw some grenades, charge in, fight in close combat, then again, you can reroll your failed hit rolls completely across the board. And if you're fighting with plague weapons, and you're within range of Mortarion, you can reroll all your hit wounds. If you're not within range of Mortarion, then you can reroll them on 1. So it's a little bit of a combo as long as he's moving up and he's within 7 inches. Then of course you have the chance to get back some command points. It doesn't matter how many command points you spend on a stratagem. If you roll a 7 on 2d6, which we all know what the odds are, you're 3 and 4, you're 5 and 2, you're 6 and 1. There's higher odds out there than any other number. That's why it's the average on 2d6, of course. So I think the math actually rounds up to about 20%, but it's hard to put math and it's hard to put fractions and decimals into dice rolling when you only roll a dice with 6 sides. So you're starting to do fractions of a 6 when the math might not work out quite the same on, different things. So again, it is average. It's going to be somewhere around 20%, probably less than 20%, but you can kind of take that with a grain of salt. But it happens more often than not, and when it does happen, you might get 2 to 3 command points back depending on what stratagem you're doing. So for 60 points, I feel like if you have the points in your army list, he's worth taking, but I almost feel like an auto include is definitely going to be this Plague Surgeon, maybe 2 Plague Surgeons, depending on how you want to do it, because not only does this help protect your HQ characters, also your Death Guard, pretty much everything in the Death Guard itself, if you're taking a Death Guard detachment, is going to rock the disgusting resilient rule, including the Plague Surgeon. So he's almost a force multiplier upon himself, just having him in there to buff things from Death Shroud to the Death Guard themselves to even Mortarion. So Mortarion becomes more and more of a force to reckon with when you start adding in Plague Surgeons and Death Shrouds and the ability to teleport, or not teleport, but do a double movement with warp time with a normal Chaos Space Marine Sorcerer and a different detachment, bouncing up, raining death all through the enemy's lines. Now, of course, it doesn't always work on everything because, you know, screens are a thing and then he's caught flat-footed, but you want to definitely be smart about your tactics when it comes to Mortarion and also some of the other models out there, because they may be resilient, but they're not gonna survive getting shot by a whole army. I don't think there's many units out there that can survive that. So there's a quick little review with rules, tips and tactics, or I guess overview, for the new Plague Surgeon of Nurgle, and of course the Tallyman of the Death Guard right there. So if you like these video features here on this channel, make sure you subscribe to us and turn notifications on so you can be the very first to like and comment on our features here. And head on over to longwar.net. That's the home of the battle reports for exclusive content, early access videos, and more. Become a veteran of the Long War today.